know how to.
Were you a drummer?
Yeah, man. Nice. Here's a joke. What do you call a guy that hangs out with musicians? A drummer.
Had to be.
What do drummers use for birth control? Their personalities. All right.
That's pretty good.
See if I can remember. Is this the right way? Hey, hello and welcome to The Moon Underwater. I'm Kelly Daniels.
And I'm Steve Jones.
Here we are back in our home country.
But it's out of order.
It is going to be out of order. But we just got back from L.A. We might as well. Look at that. An eagle is flying by.
Well,
holy cow. It's not one of the bald eagles.
Definitely not a vulture.
No, it wasn't. No, I think it was an eagle.
No.
I think it was like a juvenile one.
Oh.
Because it had like brown feathers. Oh, you think it was a vulture?
I'm looking at it right now.
Is it a vulture?
No.
Definitely.
It's definitely not a vulture. The neck wasn't right.
Well, there we are. Yeah. Eagles flying on by at the whatever this bar is called. What's it? The Riverview Roadhouse.
Not CDMX.
It isn't CDMX. Yeah, we're a little dazed. We haven't recorded in a couple weeks.
You know what's better with this?
We're
tahine on the side.
Tahine on the side, yeah, and some mezcal.
Yeah.
A big old generous pour of mezcal.
3 of them.
So we retoxed in L.A. And then detoxed, and now we're retoxing again slowly.
Yeah.
So
got to bring ourselves back to our adoring public.
Yeah, we do. And so today you picked.
I picked today.
You picked one. You want to tell us what it is?
Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Do you know the story behind this?
About what? About Sammy Hagar?
No.
Yeah.
I did listen to one of the 2 songs. I forgot to listen to the other one. It's too late now.
Lame.
I know.
Lame. Two like 3-minute YouTube clips, but
Sammy Hagar Weekend was pretty funny.
That is pretty funny. The other one is
who's it by?
Yeah, do it, please. Wait, what is that? Just yesterday, my friend got busted. She came home smelling like smoke. It's such a shame when you're not trusted.
Wow. It's
She
like
only had one little toke. No, that's Fast Times at Ridgemont High. That's a theme song.
Oh.
And and that was when Sammy Hagar was cool. The
Sammy
table
Hagar
over there.
in my world was never cool.
The table across. That's because you were too young, man.
I did not get Van Halen at all.
Yeah.
They looked like big hair 80s.
So so this movie took place in 1982. How old were you then?
2.
So I think that's it. You know, you didn't grow up in it, and so it's old by the time you are.
They got nothing on Guns N' Roses. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but there would be no Guns N' Roses without Van Halen, you know? It's like Van Halen was the first hair metal band, and everybody else followed.
Okay.
I mean, that's really...
No, but that I could understand. Because
they were...
I don't know anything but
seminal.
That from being...
That means that their semen
right, so
was
the
all
first
over Axl Rose.
Oh.
And that's what made him
what that means?
Sing so well.
You're the English professor here, I guess.
Seminal, man.
All
Semen.
Right. Well.
And it's a kind of like, fertilizing your favorite band's egg.
Oh, that's terrifying.
So that, So anyway, Fast Times at Ridgemont High. What made you... Yeah, this is kind of before your time, and you didn't really grow up in that time. You were a 90s kid, and I was an 80s kid.
Yeah.
So you weren't like a Pat Benatar lookalikes at your high school, I can't imagine.
No.
And by the time that you were in high school, Jeff Spicoli, he was like, that role was so funny, but everybody copied it.
Everybody copied it.
Oh, everybody copied it, including actual surfers. And it became the way surfers talked.
Is it art imitating life?
A little bit.
Art?
Maybe surfers were a little bit like that.
Okay.
And they were kind of, but he exaggerated it in a way and just got them to hit that, Mr. Hunt, you're ripping my card. And
what's your problem, bud?
Yeah, what's your problem? So, yeah.
So good.
So what made you? What made you?
I was thinking about the first time I saw that movie. I was a freshman in high school.
Yeah.
And
Was it funny then?
well, it was at a party, which is even weirder. It was somebody's birthday party. And it was like basement without parents, and we're watching this movie that is ancient as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure how I got invited to the party. I actually had to think about it. Because I'm like, I wasn't friends with that girl. Like,
Yeah.
I knew her, but, you know, like, we weren't, like, I didn't know her phone number or anything. My sister kind of knew her sister. Like,
It was like Phoebe Cates and Jennifer Jason Leigh. It was those two.
It was. It
And
was
you were
exactly
the
like
guy that couldn't make the move, and your friend screwed your
Definitely
girlfriend.
couldn't make the
and
move.
got her and got her
I
pregnant.
know who it was that had me invited. So, what a, yeah.
No, you know who you were.
Ratner?
You were Brad.
You're saying I was Ratner.
No, you were
Brad.
Brad. You got caught jacking off to the girl in the bathroom.
Oh, God.
And she
No.
walks in, and that's you.
What a
That
scene. He
is Steve Jones.
Judge Reinhold nails it.
Yeah, and he's wearing that pirate.
The pirate costume. Yeah, there was a lot of, I guess when I saw it, like the first time I saw it, there was a lot of laugh out loud moments.
Yeah.
And I don't remember thinking it was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like it was weird. It was, we just sort of
like-
sat there and watched it.
It's a little bit like Animal House in that so many movies copied it that it doesn't quite seem that funny anymore, but you had to go back and remember those jokes came from somewhere,
So,
you know.
I have a theory that I've come up with on whether or not it's funny.
Yeah. Okay.
Change-
Whether it's meant to be funny or just
I
is
think
funny.
it's meant to be funny,
Yeah.
but you could take a different read on it. Change the music. Something a little darker, a little
Yeah.
more somber. Girl loses virginity in dugout looking at crummy
Oh,
old
yeah.
light.
No,
And
I mean, some of the storylines are sad.
She gets an abortion. The guy gets caught jerking off. Okay, that's still funny. But all of these things, you know, like Ratner not picking her up, and you know, oh my God, it's anyway.
Not Ratner. Ratner is
Oh, it wasn't Ratner. It was Damone.
he's a nice guy.
It was
Yeah,
Damone.
Damone.
Yeah.
I have to say, I didn't blame Damone for banging her because
She had it coming.
his buddy was not making the move.
He wasn't.
And she was coming on really hard. But then the way he ghosted her, which was a word that didn't exist back in
It
those
did
days.
not.
But he just shined her on and was real a dick about it. And then also, you know, the whole abortion thing, him just dissing her.
Yeah.
I
Doesn't
mean,
show up because he doesn't have the money.
he doesn't have the money, but he also just, he's a real coward and a kind of a wormy guy. But I kind of liked him before that. Like, he's just the scalper, and he's sleazy.
Do you remember how much he made per Van Halen ticket?
No.
$8.
Yeah, that's some serious money in 1982.
People were, and the kids are like, those tickets retail for,
Yeah.
you know, $16.
I also wonder, why didn't those kids
it's
just
12.
go and buy the tickets at the box office?
I believe they were sold out.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he buys stuff, but I went to concerts when I was that age, and you could always get tickets. It wasn't, I don't know, that seemed like a fabrication that there was like scalpers who were more like guys who were peddling, you know, drugs or something.
Sure.
Seemed like more of the kind of thing. So
But the movie's so wholesome, they had to take that part out.
it's kind of wholesome except for the sex. It. So my wife
there's no
watched it
drinking,
last.
right?
No, there's no drinking except
no-
at one point, Jeff Spicoli is smoking pot and drinking Colt 45.
Nice. Yeah,
And
but
he
that's
had-
him.
And he had that badass Colt 45 shirt, the long sleeve shirt when he goes into the Quickie Mart or whatever, and that's when he kind of helps distract the bank
right
robber.
at the end.
But he's got if you watch it again or watch that clip, his shirt is really the star of the whole movie.
Awesome.
it wasn't-
totally awesome.
it totally-
All right, Hamilton.
Yeah, awesome.
Totally
Hamilton. All I need is some
Tasty
tasty waves and a cool
bu-
buzz, and I'm fine.
What a
I
line.
really, the embarrassing thing about this movie, no, it didn't hold up that great. It isn't that funny now. But it really, I was 14 when I watched it.
Oh, man.
And these were like kids that were just a little older than me.
Yeah.
And I immediately like, I was in ninth grade, but that was junior high where I went to school.
Sure.
And it was like, that's what high school is going to be like. It's going to fucking rule.
Especially because you're in Southern California.
Yeah, and I wanted to be Jeff Spicoli.
Soaking it in, did you?
Yeah, oh
You
yeah.
had the
He
hair.
was the best. And I started growing my hair long right then, and I started pretending that I was stoned.
Nice.
Even before I could ever get any pot or do it, but I
That's
just started
hilarious.
acting that way because it was funny, it seemed to me. And that was my way of, and also just acting like an idiot
I
in
love this
school.
admission.
I know, it's really embarrassing. And so I was kind of, I was like almost the age of Jennifer Jason Leigh.
Okay.
And she is, and so I watched this last night, part of it last night. My wife watched it with me, and she's like, what's up with these girls? They just want to get laid so bad. I'm like, it was kind of like that then. It was a different kind of feminism, let's put it on.
Okay.
Like, it was like being a sexual person was a way of being an adult.
Okay.
And the girls wanted to do it. They were eager to do it. And it wasn't like it was, easy to get laid because the whole thing is fraught and nobody really had a place to do it. And it's like nobody even had cars half the time, much less a place to like lie down. And that's why she has sex in the dugout of the baseball thing with that creepy guy who's like a stereo salesman.
Yeah.
Not exactly a job anymore.
With what kind of car?
That was a Datsun 280Z.
I was going to go 240.
240, okay.
Could be a I think it's a 240.
Okay. That's a sweet ride, man.
You even got the name right.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think they were, it was Datsun, and then 280 might have been the Nissan.
Oh, okay. 240, huh?
I think.
Datsun, okay.
Yeah. Did you ever own a Datsun?
No, I had a Ford Courier, which seemed like a Datsun. You probably don't even know what that is.
It was a van.
That's a pickup.
Okay.
It was a tiny little pickup, smaller than a Ranger.
I'm thinking of the European Courier, which is like a little van.
Okay.
Yeah.
A friend of mine, Larry, I think his name was. Good old Larry.
Oh, hey, Larry.
And he had a really slick Datsun.
Really?
It was a real small, it was a little sports car.
Yeah.
And, not a huge engine, but it was a tiny little car. And it could go fast. And
they're so cool.
Yeah, it was very cool.
Yeah.
So
I need to own a Z car before I die.
I didn't love. So Forrest Whitaker's character, what's his name? He's the football guy.
He is. He's got a Trans Am.
He had
a Firebird.
He had a Firebird. That was the part that really I thought the movie didn't work for me this time. Was Jeff Spicoli driving that car like crazy.
Yeah.
And then it was kind of he had a couple of funny lines in it, but it's so out of place for the perennial surfer stoner to get high and drive a Trans Am recklessly through heavy traffic.
Agree.
The stoner drives below the speed limit, not above it, generally. But I think they just needed him to crash the car to make the whole scene work.
Right.
But I did like the line where he's trying to pass people. He's like, people on lewds should not drive.
Future Academy Award winner right there.
And then he crashes, and he's like, my brother's going to kill us. He's going to kill us. He's going to kill you. He's going to kill me. He's going to shit. He's like, well, is he going to shit? Is he going to kill us? He's like, he's going to shit. Then he's going to kill us. He's like, hey, I can fix. My dad's a TV repairman, another job that doesn't exist.
Right.
He's got a killer set of tools. I can fix it. He goes, no, you can't fix this car.
His head out the window.
He goes, I can fix it.
I can fix it.
And then they,
they showed in front of
they
in front of
they
the
vandalize it, and then the guy Forrest Whitaker becomes the. I thought that was a pretty good little montage. They're playing. Fun. I think they were playing Billy Squire or something, and there's that scene where the lineman that was kind of lining up against him was like visibly shaking.
Can I take your attention to the TV while we do this really quick? Because can I point out what happened today?
Sure. I'm sure our listeners
Arsenal beat Real Madrid.
Hell yeah.
Not one, not two, but three 3-0.
3-0. Wow.
In the Champions League, 2 goals from set piece. That
you know what?
is mind blowing.
The death knell of Real Madrid.
I'm glad you said it, not me.
I think their glory days are over. Now it's just
Probably
downhill.
true.
Now it's downhill.
Yeah.
So
because you said it.
Well, cheers.
Well,
yeah.
Ooh.
Look at all that beer you.
No.
I started
still
before
don't.
you, and
Yeah. All right, can we go back and talk about who directed this?
yeah.
Amy Heckerling.
What?
Amy Heckerling. Who did you think it was?
Well, I thought Cameron Crowe.
Me too.
But he wrote
He wrote it.
the book
And the screenplay.
and
I
the
looked it up.
screenplay.
How about that?
He was probably like 16 or something. Like you know,
He went undercover of sorts. Do you know that? I mean, I did only just enough research on this.
Yeah.
That he actually went for the story to a high school in San Diego as a 20-year-old or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that's fascinating. I think he's
My
written some
former
interesting
teacher,
things.
Richard Katrovis, San Diego guy for part of his life. He was
Nobody's ever from originally San
No,
Diego,
he
right?
kind of was. I think his stepdad was a naval officer.
Oh,
so
well,
he was
those people are from.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
But he knew Cameron Crowe
Okay.
on some
Yeah.
on some level. It's
Come
a
on
name.
this podcast
It's a name.
and defend yourself.
Yeah, Cameron or Richard. Yeah, man.
Well, so what other? Do you know her name from anything?
No.
She directed. I don't know about wrote Clueless. We could talk about that one at some point.
That's good. I like that movie.
So Cameron
Same
Crowe.
kind
What
of
else?
movie.
What else has he done that you're familiar with?
Almost Famous,
Almost
right?
Famous is a big one.
So he wrote and directed it, right?
Good movie.
Did he do Titanic, or is
No.
that somebody else?
James Cameron.
James Cameron. That's two different people.
That's same.
That
name.
explains how the movies they make are not the same.
Definitely not the same. I love that.
You learn things in
Yeah.
life and,
Well,
in this
Today was
podcast.
one of
Yep.
not every podcast that we do. Sometimes it's drivel, really.
It's mostly that, but
Probably.
I
So
think that our listeners probably learn things because I don't think they start with much.
they love
You know.
drivel.
Yeah.
That's
This is
how-
my new thing, insult the listener.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's going to grow the audience because they like it. They like to feel challenged
They do.
or insulted.
Well, Cameron Crowe also directed Vanilla Sky. You ever
Just
see
yesterday, my friend got busted. She came home smelling like smoke.
that? Oh, man.
What about those lyrics?
That is.
It's such a
We're back to
shame
that?
when you're not trusted. She only had, one little toke. Look at that. That is a perfect little story in 4 lines. Sammy Hagar
You would have paid
before
attention.
before he sold out. Before he sold out. I know you were talking about something. Go ahead.
That is you would have paid attention to the lyrics of the song, and I was thinking about it as I'm watching it. I'm like,
Kelly's gonna
I should
listen.
probably write these down or know who this is. Forget it, and I forgot about it. And you're right. It's the
music is-
perfect way to open the movie.
The music is a huge part of this movie. I mean,
so that it
is
screams Cameron Crowe.
yeah,
There's heavy influence over the whole thing,
yeah.
given music.
Cameron Crowe, not James Cameron.
Definitely not James
Yeah.
Cameron.
James Cameron Crowe. What if they?
Yeah, James Cameron. How come Rose couldn't give room to what's his name?
Yeah, that's a good one.
How many times have you seen that movie?
Titanic. Mm-hmm. Once.
I've seen it once, and it took weeks to get the ticket, and I saw it. I'm like, that's it?
Yeah. Is that all there is? huh?
Yeah. And then, are you not entertained? No, I'm really not.
Oh man. Harsh.
You let him freeze to death. Make some
Yeah.
room.
That's not very nice.
What a bitch.
Yeah. Yep. Well, she needed her space.
She
They
did.
hadn't been
She
dating.
needed her space.
They hadn't been dating long, if you think about it.
It's true.
Or even if you don't. It was pretty, yeah, I don't blame her one bit. So anyway.
All right, so what about the mall that they had?
Yeah, I like them all.
Did you
I like
Did you
malls.
notice red carpeting?
No, I didn't pay attention
Do
to
you?
that.
I don't remember
Malls
there
with
being.
red-
Yeah, I don't remember carpeting in the mall.
I don't know.
It was over by the movie theater, though. Do you think
Yeah.
that was a thing? Because movie theaters had kind of reddish carpeting, I feel like.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I thought that poor Ratner had to wear a tux.
And he was away from all the action.
I
At the
had
mall.
to. Yeah, I had to. I had a job once where I had to wear like a white shirt and a bow tie, like a black bow tie.
Waiter?
50s diner. Ooh. And it was in San Francisco, right on the edge of the Tenderloin. So it was a 24-hour diner.
Perfect.
And all the pimps and prostitutes would hang out there at like 2 o'clock in the morning. But in the daytime, it was a huge tourist. Like it was just packed with tourists getting their bacon and eggs and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And we had a jukebox that was free. They just didn't. And it was all kind of like oldies. So we had it memorized. So anyway.
Oh, that's kind of fun.
That was my one time with that kind of uniform situation. But, yeah, he had the bad uniform. The girls... I worked in a mall once.
Tell me more.
Sam Goody's record shop.
Was it records, tapes, CDs?
You mean what was it selling?
What was selling?
I think it was probably cassettes.
So, children, there used to be stores
Yes.
because you couldn't get Amazon because there was no such thing. And you had
No,
to go in
there
to buy
wasn't.
the album. Man, that's changed.
There
a
is
lot.
something else. There was this machine, like a vending machine called Personics. And it was like a huge jukebox. And you would pick songs
Yeah.
and you would have to pay like 30 cents per song.
Okay.
And it would spit out a cassette tape of all of your personal mixtape, and you got to title it and put like whatever kind of message
What?
on it. You could do it. You could buy it for a gift. And I had one because everybody that worked there had to train on it, and so we all got to make one for ourselves to learn how to do it.
That's super cool.
And it was cool. It lasted for about a year, and then the record companies started charging so much per
couldn't do
song
it.
for licensing that it would be like $50 for a crappy little cassette, and it just went out of business.
That sucks.
They monopolied it out of business in a way, or just strong-armed it. But it was, but Personics, man, it was cool. So working at Sam Goody's, there was a couple of goths. I was more the metal alternative guy. I was into...
Said the guy with the Cramps shirt on right now.
Yeah, man.
You know.
I was transitioning from metal to like Jane's Addiction and Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Okay.
But, I was kind of still into speed metal, and that's what I was that guy. And then there was like just different kind of new wave and, kind of gothy kind of people. And there was just no grown-ups really. And so we just did whatever we wanted and played whatever we wanted. And all these like grown-ups would come in to buy like gifts for their children or whatever, and they'd go, "Oh my God, what is this music? It's terrible." And we'd be totally snobby, like, "This is like the greatest song in history, lady." And then finally some like actual manager showed up and made us play like new age music all the time, like Yanni and
So you
Michael
quit.
Bolton. Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Everybody quit.
Obviously.
The only reason we were there because it was kind of fun,
Yeah.
and
That would have been a cool job.
Yeah, it was a cool job.
I worked at Abercrombie.
Oh, so did you have to like upsell and like
No.
get?
No.
This was just
no.
cash register
No,
kind of
no.
jockey, or
Better yet, like my first day, stand at the front, and you don't talk to anybody when they come in. You don't have to say hi or anything. And then, and it was sort of implied like, because that's not cool.
yeah.
And then
Oh yeah, I get
And
it.
so you just-
playing hard to get.
you're
You're
just,
like Mike. What's his name?
Damone.
Damone.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like you don't care. You're
Uh-huh.
like you don't care if she
Oh.
stays, prays, lays, or something.
Right.
He had like some words.
It's definitely that.
You were that at
Yeah.
Abercrombie and Fitch.
Yeah. right? And I remember standing there for like 6 hours, really hungover on my first day.
Ah.
Oh, horribly hungover.
Yeah. Feet are getting sore, I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was also told if the alarm goes off, don't go after people. Not cool.
Oh, really?
And they'll if they don't have anything, they'll definitely come back. And if they do, they'll go away. Just don't let them back in.
Wow. So it was easy to steal things from that store.
Yeah.
Just once, though.
Yeah.
Or
I mean, like I was going to remember.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, I like, security camera footage and I'd be like, oh, and I don't think I ever had anybody walk away. People would come back to be like, oh, I'm so sorry. I don't know. Like, oh, they probably just didn't take a tag off. Whatever. But no, I didn't graduate to cash register. I was front of house, folding, setting tables up. That really sucked. That was a really shitty mall job.
Wow.
Because the guys' side wasn't so bad because you'd fold like a stack of guys' shirts. Guys won't come in and mess that up. They're like, ooh.
Oh, but the
looks
ladies.
like a lot of work.
Yeah.
The women do not care.
Yeah.
You'd spend an hour on a table. You'd be like, man, that looks so good.
They just tear through it.
It would take 30 seconds.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
And one night we were doing a floor set change, and I didn't need the job. I did it to get
That's why
cheap
you have
clothes.
such a deep-rooted hatred of women. I get it
do.
now.
No,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
They're very messy.
Very.
I will say, since we're on this misogynist jag.
Aren't we usually?
No. we like the ladies. Usually.
Re-toxic masculinity.
Retoxing it?
Retoxing it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know. I saw something on Spotify, and most of our listeners are something like 65% are women.
Well, so
because they dig us.
Sarah has 2 accounts, so that checks out.
That's
Who's the third listener?
That was a good one, Steve.
Oh man! Oh, I couldn't help myself.
Good old Sarah. We saw Sarah in L.A. We would have already dropped that.
We would, yeah. Were we in L.A.? Last week, 3 months ago.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, so what else we got on this? Who's in it?
Sean Penn. Stu Nahan.
Who does he play?
Jeff Spicoli.
Wait, really?
Sean Penn's first major role, or maybe his first role.
There is a bit of a cameo in this. Did you know
Nicolas
that?
Cage.
It is indeed
Saw
Nicolas
Cage a couple times. Eric Stoltz is Jeff Spicoli's buddy.
But Eric Stoltz. I don't know.
Eric Stoltz is in Pulp Fiction. He's in a bunch of Quentin Tarantino movies. He's the drug dealer in. He does the heroin.
He's in it?
Yeah. He's Jeff Spicoli's buddy when they walk into into All American Burger. They walk in without their shirts
Bronco
on.
Burger.
No. All American Burger. They walk in without their shirt, or they take their shirts off before they go in, and then Brad goes up. He goes, "Hey guys, put your shirts on. Look at the lot sign. Could you read it?" And they're like, "No shirts, no shoes, no dice." And he goes, "Learn it, live it." Yeah. By the way, probably the funniest moment of the movie on this watch was when Brad is rehearsing his future breakup with his girlfriend.
I knew you were going to have to mention this.
In the bathroom, and he's cleaning the bathroom window, and it's this giant like black marker. It says "Big Hairy Pussy," and he's practicing the breakup, and he's kind of half-heartedly wiping it off.
He's not wiping anything, so it makes the scene even better.
So funny.
I knew you were going to mention it.
It's so funny.
Oh, God.
That really worked, that scene.
Who was Brad played by?
That's Judge Reinhold.
Reinhold. Yeah.
He was good.
He was on a bunch of
all these people, they weren't famous. Phoebe Cates and Jennifer Jason Leigh.
Phoebe Cates
and
was extra hot.
She looked some tatas.
Yeah.
Showed and
also we find out. Yeah.
Yeah. And also that music is so great, that scene. It's the jerk-off scene, and she...
Bounce, bounce. Yeah.
Come on, you could do it.
It's
Keep
amazing.
going.
No.
It's streaming in stereo by the cars. And,
it is.
And it's got that...
It's really good.
Bum, bum,
Bum,
bum,
bum,
bum,
bum,
bum.
We're so good. We should start a band like this.
Yeah, synth band, except just beatbox.
Just us.
Beatboxing.
Oh, no. Oh, God.
Life is strange.
I like that you knew that was the Cars.
Anyway, it's super groovy, and the camera gets all kind of soft, and then she comes out of the
They
water.
put Vaseline all over the camera.
Yeah,
basically.
and she comes out of the pool and then takes her top off, and then he gets caught
smirking and jerking.
whacking off.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That was it. The funniest part, the most awkward, and what does he say?
Yeah, doesn't anybody fucking knock
Doesn't
anymore?
anybody fucking knock anymore? What a line.
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
Yeah. But he should have locked the
And
door.
I was watching, and I'm like, he's not wrong. But what bathroom in America does not have a lock? I implore you, sir. Don't answer that, people.
I'm sure it has a lock. He just didn't lock it because he didn't think anybody was going to come into his house, right?
I mean,
Except his sister, which poses its own set
they're
of...
right outside. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
And
And he's fantasizing about the one that then comes in. That makes it weirder.
You know who would have liked that? Louis C.K.
Oh, he would have.
Yeah, he would have been like...
He'd been like, would you like to stay?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Phoebe Cates, there's a lot of... All these people got famous later, so
They
I mean, the
did.
movie was important in that way.
Okay.
Who else? Did you have any others?
Who is Phoebe Cates married to?
I don't know.
It's an actor.
Jim Cates.
No. And I definitely don't have it. I don't have it in my notes.
Dude, what a jerk. Set me up for...
Kevin Kline.
Kevin Kline?
Yes.
Really?
Pulled that out of the back of my head.
Kevin Kline's great. He was great in A Fish Called Wanda. Have you seen that movie?
Yeah.
That's so funny. He plays the dumb American, kind of like... It's great.
I just thought he played the regular American.
Yeah,
But-
okay.
Oh,
He was average intelligence American.
there you go.
Here we are doing above average bar. Do you think this is above average bar talk
No,
or
I don't.
closer to average? Below average?
You know what? In
Hey.
this bar, average.
You know what the average bar talk is a bunch of dudes at the bar looking at their phones. That's average. So we're above
We
it.
are above average
fact
for
that we
that
are-
very reason.
That we are just talking at all.
We do this for the love, the
we
adoration
do.
of our fans.
Of course we do.
So,
Life is strange.
Let's-
Dreaming
let me
in
see.
stereo.
Let me see what I got.
Life is...
so we didn't really go through the plot on this one. Do we
my
want
friend
to?
got busted.
I love that you know the lyrics.
I mean, I don't know it. I listen to it. But it's just some great lines, man.
We didn't go through the plot, but there's not really a plot.
There's
right?
a couple. The main plot is a girl wants to get laid, gets pregnant,
Gets the result of getting laid.
gets an abortion, and
end.
there's that.
Okay.
The other one is guy wants to advance in his career doing retail, gets fired,
Yeah.
and is bummed out. That's actually kind of funny. He wants to dump his girlfriend.
Wait.
And
in
then-
retail, he's in fast food.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like hospitality, I guess, then. So
Okay.
he's in fast food, but then he goes into Quickie Mart,
Right.
Convenience store. But then he becomes he becomes a manager. He gets what he wants. The Jennifer Jason Leigh's character, Sarah, is that her name, Sarah? Or Stacy?
Stacy. Yeah.
Stacy is looking to grow up and to get laid, but then she turns out, no, I want a relationship. And it's a love story with her and Shy.
With Ratner.
Radcliffe.
I thought it was Ratner.
Ratner. And
But with a name like Rat, you
Yeah.
gotta look a little weaselly.
but he's
And
a
he
little
does.
weaselly. He's but he's smart. Everybody's cheating off him on
Yeah.
so he's probably gonna make a bunch of money. That was probably not a bad move on her part. And he's gonna be the nerd that later, is the Bill Gates kind of character who has all the money.
Only a couple years later, drop out of Harvard and own the world.
That's right. And so that's one of the plot lines. Another one is Jeff Spicoli just is really flirting with not passing his history class. And good old
Yeah.
So here's
Mr.
something.
Hand.
Mr. Hand was the bad guy when I watched it when I was 14. And now he's like the hero.
He is absolutely the hero.
He's like that.
Are you kidding?
He's totally justified.
I
in
have to
all
agree with my
of this-
14-year-old self because I think I saw it when I was 14.
Yeah.
then.
All this bullshit that Spicoli's pulling on him. You're ripping my card. You dick. That's pretty funny.
It's great.
And then Mr. Hand comes and gives him a lesson on prom night or whatever that night was.
Yeah.
That's really working too hard.
It's great. He was played by Ray Walston, who he was my favorite Martian.
Oh yeah, he did look. That's
Yeah.
right.
I remember Nick at Night.
Yeah,
You
man.
saw it when it was on TV live, but
I don't
a
think
new
I
episodes.
did,
I'm
but
pretty sure.
I did not.
Wow.
You're maligning me. Not that old, or I just wasn't
I'm
watching
like-
that show.
I'm way dry over here.
Wow, man.
I
Do you want to
know.
get a couple more beers?
Because I retoxed.
And I'll sing Sammy Hagar.
Now that I'll stay.
What I should, I sent you a couple of music clips, and I'm gonna I'll put them on the show notes. But one of them is a band called Thelonious Monster.
Oh, yeah, we've talked about them.
But that's the one you listen to. It's Sammy Hagar Weekend.
Oh, that's the good one.
So Sammy Hagar was cool when I was in high school until he joined Van Halen. By that time,
Wait, he was Hold on, you just blew my mind.
Yeah.
He was by himself before?
Yeah.
What?
He was in a band called Montrose.
I had no idea.
It was like this hard rock band, and he was probably 19 years old or something, and then he went solo, and he was called the Red Rocker.
I thought that was just a nickname.
No, he was a solo performer.
Oh my God.
So him doing the theme song of Fast Times at Ridgemont High, that was Sammy Hagar solo. He had no connection with Van Halen whatsoever.
I had no idea. I thought that was post Van Halen.
No, it was pre Van Halen. And well, if you think about it, it was 1982.
I don't care.
Van Halen they were a pretty new band then. They only had a couple
this
records.
much about Van Halen history.
I get it. And so he was cool in those days. And then when he replaced David Lee Roth late in Van Halen, when Van Halen was becoming very poppy, very mainstream, when before they were kind of like a heavy metal or a hard rocking band. And so, but anyway, Sammy Hagar, around that time, heavy metal was being replaced by alternative rock.
Yeah.
Which I was saying was the Jane's Addictions and the Red Hot Chili Peppers and a whole bunch of bands that were
We had Q101 in Chicago. That was what I grew up on.
It was cooler.
Yeah. Pearl Jam, Nirvana.
Even that predated all those grunge bands, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I was 12
Yeah.
and Pearl Jam and Nirvana, and I didn't really like either one that much.
Yeah.
But it was okay, I'm going to listen to that because
the
that's what
band
everybody listens to.
that I sent you that clip is called Thelonious Monster, LA band. They're not famous. They never got famous. But this song is called the Sammy Hagar Weekend, and it's just completely fucking with the whole Sammy Hagar ethos.
Okay.
And it's here's kind of one of the verses. It says, "You got a Metallica T-shirt. You got a little tiny baby mustache. Got a jacked up Camaro," which I don't think makes sense. You don't
doesn't.
jack up a Camaro.
No.
Sitting
Well,
you
I've
could?
seen it.
Sitting in the parking lot at Anaheim Stadium, drinking beer, smoking pot, snorting coke, and then driving over 55 because it's a Sammy Hagar weekend. So I Can't Drive 55 is solo Sammy Hagar.
Is it?
Yeah, there's no Van Halen. That was years before he entered.
This is like...
Wow, man.
We are learning more on this podcast.
You are.
Well...
I think a lot of people know this. This isn't like hidden. This isn't sacred.
Nobody my age knows this.
Nobody knows that there was a time where Sammy Hagar wasn't in Van Halen.
I'm 45, and I mean, mostly we don't care.
Yeah, we.
Yeah, I'm speaking for all millennials.
Every 45.
Under 50.
So this other song that I posted is called Van Halen, and it is by a band called Nerd Herd.
Like it.
And they sound just like Weezer, and I think this song is like pre-Weezer. So I kind of wonder, like, why they didn't get famous, but it's a song
just like Buddy Holly.
It's kind of like that, but it's about Van Halen, and it's about being a kid and loving Van Halen, and then feeling just deeply, deeply betrayed when David Lee Roth quit or got kicked out, and Sammy Hagar took over. And they blend in all these different Van Halen songs and talking about how much he loves Van Halen, and it's very charming in that way. And then all of a sudden, the kind of music gets a little darker, and then it just goes, Sammy Hagar, is this what you wanted?
Can we get two more?
Is this what you wanted, man?
He did.
And he goes, Dave lost his hairline, but you lost your cool. And now I'll never buy your lousy records again. Never again, never again, never again. And all that little kind of like angst about your favorite band changing its lineup and becoming more pop, and how angry that makes you when you're, whatever, 16.
Yeah.
And, when I don't know if you were like this, and I don't know if the young people are like this anymore, but our personalities were built around what kind of music you listened to, and it's how you dressed, and it was who you hung out with, and it was all that stuff. And so something like a hard band that was edgy turning into a keyboard
What was
playing
a poppy
pop
song,
band.
would you say, from Van Halen?
Jump.
That was really poppy.
Doot, 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 doot.
Might as well jump.
Well, there's that.
Okay.
But then after that,
that for me is Van Halen.
But Sammy Hagar took over, and then it became really soft, kind of like, and kind of sentimental. Why can't this be love? So here's I know you're bored of this.
No, I actually kind of like this because that's a song I know and kind of like.
So here's the comparison between old Van Halen with David Lee Roth. Their song is called Ain't Talking About Love.
Yeah.
And it's a kind of a gnarly song, and it's like a tough talking. I heard the news late. I heard the news, baby, all about your disease. You may have all you want, but I got something you need. Ain't talking about love. And it's just like, I'm going to fuck you. And it's not going to be about love. And so that's kind of Van Halen. It's this really ballsy.
All right.
Some people might call it misogynist.
I think I knew the later one.
The later one with Sammy Hagar, Ain't Talking About Love, turns into, why can't this be love? And it gets really kind of sweet, and from my taste, just completely wimpy and ballless.
Are you familiar with the film Joe Dirt?
I know them. I know what
it's a film, sir.
It's a film.
The film.
I do know that there is an impressive David Spade. Is
David
he?
Spade, and he's asked by he's on the radio. Dennis Miller is asking him, what are your favorite bands? And he's like, and he starts rattling him off, right? He's like, Led Zeppelin, AC/DC, Van Halen, not Van Hagar.
Yeah, man.
And I
That's
guess I
it.
never got.
You didn't quite understand that because early Van Halen 1 was a just groundbreaking record, and it was the entry. It was like maybe one of the first heavy metal albums of all time. It was.
Then they went soft metal.
It was moving from the old classic rock, and then it's like Steely Dan and Journey. Those were popular bands at the time.
I'll leave Journey out, but Steely Dan fucking sucks.
But anyway, it's this really highly produced and
Not that I'm opinionated on the subject.
you're not.
There's one song in particular, Blues
Yeah.
Beach.
Yeah.
Do not listen to that song. It's
I
terrible.
don't
It
know
will get in your head.
How's it go?
Blues Beach, I'm burning, sizzling in the mystified rays. It's horrible.
That sounded good,
No.
man. I like this song.
Oh God,
It's,
no.
I'm gonna. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put it on our auto channel, kind of just to kind of crank
Right.
it now and then. But
I don't mind any other Steely Dan song. That song pisses me off.
you know, it's Steely Dan. What the title is, right?
I
What the
don't.
name of the band?
No.
It was the name of a vibrating dildo that was on the market. That was like that was chrome colored.
Steely Dan.
Yep.
I knew somebody with a cat named Steely Dan.
I feel like if you look at those guys in Steely Dan, the reason why they were called that because that's what their girlfriend said.
I don't know what they look like.
They were studio musicians, you know. They were not rock stars. They weren't good looking.
Okay.
They were just regular looking guys, you know. And
They were
but
musicians.
they were really musicians. And actually, that show called Yacht Rock, a documentary. It's on HBO. And it's all about
I'm
that.
gonna have to watch this.
It's good. It makes
know.
you will like Steely Dan better after watching that.
Oh, we already talked about Steely Dan. The fact that
Now
wow.
it's all coming back.
Well, we talked about Yacht Rock.
Yeah. So you
I
have
had no idea what you were talking about.
you have Alzheimer.
I do.
That's a bummer.
Oh.
Early onset, 45. That's
Thank
when
God.
That's when it starts
You know what? As long as I
Showing up.
don't remember or know
When
anything,
it's-
I guess I'm okay.
showing up, man.
Yep.
It was all that pot smoking when you
Gotta
were
be.
watching, you know, Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
I thought it was fun
My,
to watch it again.
you know what else? The greatest thing was Jeff Spicoli's outfits. He had the
Well, the Colt 45 long sleeve.
he had that.
Look at that steel
he had
trap.
He had the he had the Baja poncho.
He did.
The kind of pinkish colored one. That was a
Yeah.
classic. He had the old school surf shorts, which were kind of like short shorts.
They were short.
That's how you used to do it, man. All these shorts that go down to your knees. We didn't do that in the old days.
Isn't that harder on your thighs when you're getting up and everything? It seems like the longer shorts were kind of smart.
I don't know. I don't think it makes much difference. I mean, I don't know.
Sliding across the board with your skin, you get board rash if you don't have like a
It's a rash
shirt
guard.
on and
yeah.
So the longer shorts seem to make sense.
Yeah, maybe.
Unless you have board rash on your like quads, I guess.
Yeah.
Look at that. We're talking about my infinite
Board-
knowledge
board
of
rash.
surfing.
Board rash.
I know next to nothing about surfing. Only that I have been on 2 feet on a surfboard for a good little fair bit for like maybe 10 times in
Nice.
my life,
Yeah.
and that it
good.
feels amazing.
Yeah.
And that yes, I want to do that again, but it takes me so long between the tries.
Yeah.
And also,
We don't live at the beach.
well, different kind of beach here.
Yeah.
You ever go to Buffalo Beach?
Oh yeah, great
One here.
surfing there.
Great surfing.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I got nothing else.
Wait, no, I'm not done with Jeff
Oh, good.
Spicoli's. I'm not done with his outfit.
Oh.
The
45.
Vans, the checkered slip-on Vans sneakers.
Those were huge.
And
Up through 1988, those were big.
no, they still are. All kinds of my students wear them. They've never gone out of fashion.
Really?
Yeah, pretty much.
Are those guys Keds? Is that really what they are? I think
No, they're. I wish I would have looked this up, but I think they were just a small little.
No, but I mean, it's
store.
like, do you know what I mean? Like the guys, girls all wore Keds, the guys all wore Vans.
I don't know. I didn't remember Keds being popular.
they were
but
big.
Were they big?
Oh my God.
Vans were just, it was a small shop, a mom and pop shop. I don't know.
You did not have a sister.
Okay.
And
But
cats were big.
Vans were skateboard shoes, and eventually they became a fashion statement, and
Okay.
not just for the skateboard kids. And also wearing like kind of like long sleeve shirt, but the short shorts, and then the Vans. That was just a great look.
It was.
And
Still is.
Yeah. Was there any
You
other
gotta
like
tuck your
plot
nuts back
lines
in.
or good jokes or anything? Maybe that's it. Maybe we did come to the end
What was
of this.
What was your conclusion?
My conclusion.
Yeah. Like, does it hold up?
Not really. It was really nostalgic to me. It made me remember what it was like to live in that time.
Yeah.
I mean, my high school was kind of like that.
Oh my God.
I would say that this was a setup for a much, much better film that treats this material more realistically, but is also funnier.
Oh.
That's Dazed and Confused.
I was gonna go the other way and go with Kids.
Yeah, Kids is gnarly. It's not
It is.
funny.
No.
Maybe
with the right soundtrack, it
could be.
Yeah, that was this movie.
No, I thought that this is so Dazed and Confused takes place in 1976, so it's older, but it's got the music soundtrack.
Yeah.
But it came out in the 90s, I think. So it was looking back with nostalgia in a way that Fast Times at Ridgemont High was.
Yes.
That was then. It was like contemporary.
Yes.
That was the
Okay.
vibe. It was a
Yeah.
really young guy that wrote it,
Yep.
who lived it. And Richard Linklater doing Dazed and Confused was looking back, and there's really a way to read that or interpret that film by looking at it as what we know now or what we knew in the 90s, looking back at the 70s and what those kids thought was going to come. It wasn't really what was going to come.
Right.
Because they thought that the 80s were going to be radical. And they kind of weren't. It's hard to say what the 80s were. Anyway.
It was different. Totally different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I guess that's it.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I liked watching it.
Didn't think too much about it. It was fun. So, yeah. All right.
All right. This is going to be
Cool.
a shorter one than usual. That's all
Uh-oh.
right. We can do that. We're allowed, aren't we?
About an hour.
All right. Here it is, man.
All right.
Chicka, chicka, chicka. All right, everybody. Like us and rate us and all that stuff. And
The guys at the moonunderwaterpubcast.com.
yeah, send us an email.
Yeah.
We haven't been doing that. And everybody take care.
I should probably read what our email is to make sure that that's what it is.
The guys
At the
moonunderwaterpubcast.com. Not .net.
No, those are .net.
.me.
Fakes.
.me.
Yeah, no.
How about that one?
Well, it's no.
.me. No, it's not that.
No.
All right.
All right.
Take
Thank
care,
you, people.
everybody. Bye.